Hey everybody, Who's Your Jedi here with another review for you. This time talking the Batwoman episode, Down the Rabbit Hole. And first of all, forgive the hat, my hair looks like complete garbage today. And yeah, I figured, well, if I'm going to put a hat on, I might as well, go whole hog on it. And if you're wondering, this is something I've used in some previous Halloween costumes. Doing something different this year, but still pretty fond of this hat. Okay. Actually, my new costume will have a hat involved too, but maybe we'll talk about that another time. Anyway, let's get right into it. So this is definitely a good episode. It definitely feels like it's a solid continuation of what happened last time around, and it builds on everything really nicely. Again, I really like that they're not jerking us around too much with the whole "is Alice Beth" thing, and like here, it's basically spelled out like in no uncertain terms. No, this woman is totally Beth. Um, I really am looking forward to when they explain like, okay, what did happen to her in like the 15 years since all of that? Like, what turned her into this crazy person? I mean, her motive of wanting revenge on her dad for basically giving up on looking for her is, I mean, it's to some degree understandable, but it's just, yeah, I mean, really, what was he supposed to do? But again, people aren't logical about these sort of things, so it's understandable. Still, it is very intriguing that Catherine seems to know what's going on in this situation, and then she's working to cover it up. Now that's really interesting. Um, Also like how they have started to genuinely flesh out Mary more as a character. I mean, her running that clinic was an interesting twist in the first episode. Here, though, we kind of get to see her in her relationship with Kate, wanting to have that sort of bond with her. And then, her wanting closeness with Kate absolutely blowing up in her face, and Kate obviously feeling pretty guilty about the whole thing, even though Alice was responsible for it. I mean, and it's nice. Like, Mary is starting to grow as a character, and she's starting to kind of grow on me, too. I was, again, a little annoyed by her in the first episode, but that was sort of by design. Like, essentially, our first brush with her is her seeming like some very shallow person. With the medical clinic, we start to see that, no, there's more to her that's going on. And again, here, we see like she wants this bond with Kate, who is her stepsister. Again, showing us that, well, there's more to Mary than you might think at first blush. So again, nice. The flashbacks were handled pretty well. I mean, flashbacks are always a risky business. Ooh, risky business. Good Tom Cruise movie. Very good. Super hot Rebecca De Mornay in that movie. Oh, 80s classic. Anyway. Again, Kate's dad gets some nice, is more nicely fleshed out this episode. Again, Luke Fox kind of being the exposition guy, and then very conspicuously having him talk about the two tools that Kate ultimately does use during the course of the episode. Again, this is conspicuous storytelling, but it's just how television works. So yeah, okay. That's just sort of something you have to sort of take as a necessity of the genre. I mean, they only have like about 40 some minutes to tell these stories. They can't go around like yammering on about stuff that has absolutely no consequence further down the line. Let's see here. What else do we have to say? Oh, of course, it's really cool that they have confirmed here that Wonder Woman and Robin exist in the Arrowverse on Earth 1. Now we know that Themyscira from we saw in Legend of Tomorrow that Themyscira existed, but apparently Wonder Woman is an active hero. We just haven't really heard about her now. So like, where is she right now? I mean, over the course of the comic, she's worked in a lot of different places. She operated out of Boston for a while. I think in the modern time, she's actually based in London, or at least she was when I read some of the issues of the Superman Wonder Woman series. And then she had her own version of San Francisco called Gateway City. That was her base of operations for a while when John Byrne was hemming the title. George Perez, I believe, was the Boston era. Anyway, I don't know. I kind of think it might be interesting if she was actually operating out of London, which could kind of explain why we haven't really seen her so much. Or, she's been hinted at, but we've never seen her directly. So if she's operating out of the UK, then that offers a much more plausible reason as to why she's not going to be involved in Crisis on Infinite Earths, at least as far as we know. And they don't have an actress or anything for like that, so it makes sense. And just sort of why she hasn't had any real contact with the other heroes. But yeah, let's see here. Oh yeah, one other thing. I definitely got a bit of a laugh when Luke uses the defibrillator to wake Kate up when she's unconscious, and she just sort of like, what? Opens her eyes. Yeah, look, I've had some like emergency training from the Red Cross, all right, more than once, for job-related reasons and for other stuff. Defibrillators are not a joke. You don't just zap somebody with something like that as like, and treat it as the same as like throwing a glass of water on their face to wake them up. That doesn't work. You can effing kill somebody by zapping them with a defibrillator when they're not in like, a critical medical situation. Again, this is comics TV, so you kind of have to let certain things go, but it's like, yeah, that's really, really not a good idea. Yeah. Don't do stuff like that. I mean, hope to God people aren't there going around giving people zaps with defibrillators for a laugh, but still, jeez. Let's see. Oh, yeah. The whole, so you're married now thing, that was awkward. I do like that is sort of like, well, where are we going to go with this thing? Personally, I kind of think they're eventually just going to have those two move on and eventually introduce Renee Montoya, which I believe is what happened in the comics. If they do that, then later on she could kind of follow Montoya's path of taking over for Victor Sage and becoming the Question. The Question is one of those characters I've really, really, really wanted to see in the Arrowverse for a long time. He's a character with enormous potential. But then again, so Victor Sage, okay, I mean, I'm cool with them doing this either way, but yeah, Victor Sage is a character that I've read some of those old Question comics that was it Denny O'Neil did back in the 80s and stuff. Those are good things. But again, this is just me sort of spitballing on what could happen in the future, but Batwoman does seem like a very natural sort of place to introduce a character like the Question now that Arrow is going away. He's a little bit too much of a bright and sunny character. He's not a bright and sunny character, so The Flash or Legends doesn't seem the right fit. So yeah, I would very much like to see them do that in the future, but it's a little too soon for something like that. Still, it would be kind of cool if Batwoman sort of developed that sort of friends and occasional with a tiny bit of rivalry that Barry and Oliver have with the Question, whomever it might be. Well, okay, if it was to become Renee Montoya, they would have a very different relationship, but okay, we're getting way off topic here. Anyway, guys, I think I'm going to call it here. As always, please comment, rate, and subscribe, and until next time, take care and have a good one.